Okay, well, hi everyone, and thank you very much for watching or listening. Liam Patry here today with another episode of the Simply Inspired podcast. And today I have a very, very special guest. And today, something a little bit different. Today, we're going to be talking extensively about different aspects of spirituality. Now, today's guest, Ruta Dzikaraite. Hopefully, I'm saying that right, or at least close. Apologies if I've murdered that. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about this amazing woman's journey through the spiritual world in multiple aspects, including the Osho meditations, Kundalini. We're going to be talking about Qigong. Obviously, there's different pronunciations of that, so Ruta can correct me on that shortly. But more importantly, we're going to be talking about the inner journey that Ruta has been through in her life. Is quite an amazing story, I must say, and a story of transformation, a story of healing, a story of hope. So we're going to be sharing topics, as always, that help you, the viewers and the listeners, in your daily lives. Obviously, finding out more about what Ruta does, so anybody who wants to connect with her can do so. So to our audience, stay tuned and enjoy. And Ruta, thank you so much for making a time for this today. And it's really a privilege to have you here. So thank you.
Happy to join, happy to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, likewise, likewise. I was very inspired by your story and everything that you're doing, helping people, contributing to people in so many ways. And I think we'll get to that shortly. But before we do, your journey to Cyprus. Now, let's go back in time, 16 years, I believe, and talk about this. And I'm starting here because Cyprus is obviously a healing island, a beautiful, harmonious place. So, what first inspired you to take the leap, as they say, and actually move here, please?
Yes, so to mention first, I'm a massage therapist and a beauty therapist. And at that time, I was in Lithuania, in Vilnius, where I was living. And the place that I was working temporarily closed for renovation. And I was looking for like some options because I wasn't happy where I was, to be honest. And everyone who would ask me this, I would just say that I felt like I need to. I felt like I need to leave. There are always deeper reasons. Like I felt like I'm not adulting well, you know. I was very much spoiled brat child. Yeah. So I needed to learn responsibility. And I think that was my deeper reason for leaving. But at that time, it was, I saw Cyprus. I knew the only thing about Cyprus is the Aphrodite. So I knew it's an island. I knew it has sea, and I absolutely love the sea and the water. So I thought, well, it cannot go wrong. And I saw an advertisement in the newspaper about spa looking for the massage therapist. And in a week's time, I was there. Yeah, in Cyprus, in Protaras, in a beautiful place.
That's amazing, how that all came together, and obviously a very brave decision. And what was the response like, if you don't mind me asking about this, from your family and everything, and your friends and people like that, when you decided to leave? Were they quite encouraging, or were they, some of them, worried for you as well?
Yeah, so most difficult was with my mom. And until, I don't know, I'm 16 years now, until even now, I think she haven't fully come to terms of accepting that I live in different place and that is my choice. And it's a choice made not out of recklessness or desperation, but I'm happy how I created my life here. So I think she's now in terms like she's okay now. But it was very painful for her as a mother, and of course it was painful for me because of the close relationship we had. So that was a bit of a tough thing. My father was encouraging me, so I didn't expect that. And he said, like if I was your age, I would go. Like it's an adventure, take it. And I was grateful for that because you need an encouragement in these times to support your decision, wrong or right. Doesn't matter, but you need to like see that you are supported in your life, and it was beautiful. Friends, we had really great relationships. So they say, okay, we are sad you're going, but we come and visit you and you come visit us. And that's what has been happening. So all good there. And actually, one little thing was my sister, and I really love her for that. She said, never forget that you are worth millions, and it was so beautiful from her. And I kept that in my mind, if my story would get a bit rough, I remember that she would say, she said, you're worth millions, don't forget that. So yeah, that was my leaving little story.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Ruta. As I've said all the way along with everything you've sent me, thank you for being an open book. And again, my reason for talking about that is that it gives people the context of what you're doing, but also I think it inspires people as well that it is possible to take that leap, and find somewhere in the world where you feel you belong. It's an important lesson. So, I relate a lot to that as well, personally. So very good. Now, as we come into your spiritual journey, or the startings of your spiritual journey, when you were emailing me the information about this, you described that your spiritual awakening, shall we say, started with a heartbreak. Actually, started with a loss. Now, I know with this we're kicking things off with a few difficult experiences with leaving your country, with heartbreak, but obviously these were the start of wonderful things that have happened in your life, even though I'm sure at the time it didn't seem that way. So can you share with us a little bit about that, just from the point of view, not so much the breakup, but just from the point of view of how that started to open your heart, open your mind, and you started to see things from a different point of view, if that makes sense, please.
Yeah. So it was, one of my traits that I would fall in love very strongly with someone, and very luckily, because I would have a response from another person, so it wasn't like a one-way communication. And for me, it was something that I was longing for since little girl, to love and to be loved. And that was very deep in me, and I was always looking for, or was in love, or was looking for that sense of being in love. And then I met a man, and due to unforeseen circumstances, he had to leave the island. And I just was so overwhelmed by the pain that I just literally didn't know what to do. I was weeping, I was like tearing of you say of the heart, but it's not the heart. It's just your I think your maybe understanding, maybe I see heartbreak as a huge huge possibility to break to another level. So when that was happening to me, I was crying, I was weeping, couldn't sleep. It was like quite an intense, painful state. And I started to look for like a ways out. And one of them, I met my friend Nijole. She is also Lithuanian. And just before that, she introduced me, before the heartbreak story, she introduced me to Osho meditation. And I was going to her with my little scooter. I was in Ayanapa, she was in Protaras. I was going to her almost every day, and we were dancing and dancing, shaking off the emotions. Just like I would wake up like in the middle of the night, and then I couldn't sleep. And instead of like moaning and crying, I would just start dancing and releasing. And I was sort of praying in my heart, that person is gone, but please don't take the love from me. I want to keep the love. And then another little story is I mentioned there that I contacted a psychic, and I found him online actually, weirdly. He was living in Paphos, and I saw that like he had good reviews, and I thought there was nothing to lose. So I sent him like a request if he could see if I could, somehow get back with that guy or what's happening with me. And he said, it's not gonna happen, sweetheart. I'm sorry. It might be difficult, but it's not happening. So he sent me the recording. And another thing he said, like, but I see a lot of change. I see a lot of change. He said, you won't recognize, the person that you are. In new people are coming in your life, you're going to completely turn your life upside down. And that was true for me. That was like amazing. And at that time you are in a whirlwind, you don't realize that this is possible. You don't even see that. But when you look back, it's exactly what happened. I changed my lifestyle. I changed the place where I live. I took new things on, and everything was just aligning in completely different way. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that heartbreak experience and keeping the love. And then another thing that psychic guy told me, which really reached me, he said, there are different types of love. And that was like, yeah, it doesn't have to be a romantic love to express your love, It can be love towards yourself. It can be love towards nature. It can be love to your parents, your friends, your job. Love is love. And that was a really good message. So I took it to the heart.
Okay. Well, it's a powerful story, Ruta. And again, everything that we talk about here is always from the point of view of helping people, people who are going through the same thing, people who feel that they're alone, and everything, and showing that you came through it, it shows they can as well. So that's the first thing. But I do appreciate you sharing such vulnerable points, if you like. I do appreciate that because I know there's a couple of things here where, yes, you've taken the positives from them, but maybe to remember them, it's not always easy. So thank you very much for that, first of all, before we go further. And it gives people the context of how you grew to be the person that you are today. And then we will get into your actual business and things very soon. Before we do, the last question I have about your background and about the changes that you made that I feel will be relevant to people is you also changed some of your the people you were sort of hanging out with, you changed some of your associations, some of your habits. And again, I feel this is very valuable to people because this is something a lot of people go through. You know, a lot of people are staying stuck with the people they grew up with. People are stuck in habits that don't really take them where they want to go, but they don't know how to change it. So I'd like to touch on that with you a little bit about getting yourself out of that environment. And then from there, I think we'll go full swing into your spiritual practices and then teaching. But as I've said, I feel this bit is relevant. So do you mind sharing a little bit more about that time and some changes you made, please? That's okay.
Yeah. So before that, if you remember me mentioning, I was very much of the party girl, very much social alcoholic. I had problem with abusing alcohol and was quite a heavy smoker. I would smoke half packet of cigarettes every day. Party would be much more, and I would indulge in really reckless behavior, like really wild style. And it's good for a while. I mean, it's a growing phase, but if you're stuck in there and you keep doing this and you think it's still fun, well, like time passes by and you're not addressing many things that are behind that. So yeah, for me, the biggest two facilitators of my ability to actually get replace the habits was first facing myself, and that helped me tremendously with Osho. Because in one of his speech, he was asked a question by some lady, and she was asking him, why are we always running so fast? And he said, my dear, whatever name, everyone is running as fast as they can from themselves. But you can go to the Himalaya, you can go to, anywhere in the world, you cannot run from yourself. You're gonna be caught by yourself sooner or later. And yeah, so that was a message that reached me, and he was despite of all the like documentaries that were made about him, and he remains really a person who impacted my life a lot with his teachings. And so that was one. Another one was my partner, Greg. He came to my life at exactly the same time, just after my heartbreak. And first we were just friends, but he was so loving, so accepting, so friendly, and he never judged me. He had just such a kind heart. He still has. But we would still party at those days, but there was nothing like, he sort of like let it all out, like to expire. So we were partying, and then I stopped. Like, what? This is ridiculous. Why do I need these hangovers again? I have much better things to look after. And the third thing was Reiki. Yeah, Reiki, of course. With Reiki, like I was also like having intentions to change my habits, and I stopped smoking. I stopped drinking without much. It wasn't like people say, oh, it was hard for me, I had to like push through. It was nothing like that for me. I was like very naturally just letting go of these habits. So it's brilliant, really. I'm so grateful for it. Basically these three little teachings of Osho, Gregory's acceptance and kindness, and Reiki.
That is an incredible story of the transformation and what you've been through. And as I've said, I feel that will really resonate with a lot of people. Um, as you said, or in all fairness, as Osho said, people running from themselves. It's such a common thing. So many people are going through that, and they don't even know why. So it's a wonderful place to start. So if we move forward into your spiritual development, shall we say, or into your spiritual um, practices with Greg and with the Reiki and everything like this. Obviously, now you do a few different aspects of this, but at the time you were starting with Reiki. Now, with this, the question I have is not very specific as such, but it's just, can you share with us a little bit about your process of getting into Reiki, some of what happened to you, and how you started to become more immersed, more involved in spirituality from that point forward. So, Osho and Reiki and Greg was sort of the opening the door, walking through the door into, well, to some extent, into the life you're living now. I think it would be good to touch on that process, and especially from the point of view of anyone listening to this who is starting out on that journey as well. I think it's very good to talk about that, please.
So with Reiki, I started immediately, and Greg was the one who was taking me. I found a teacher, Austrian woman, Angela, and she was living near Limassol. I believe she still does. And she's a brilliant teacher. I started to go with her first for therapies, just for the Reiki healing, then for the attunement. And I never felt such a wonderful flow through my body. Like I was like taken aback. Wow, what is this? It's just this radiance flowing. Once you feel it, you sort of like, what is this? How can I never knew about it? How, it was just so wonderful every time. Very, very healing. It was like pouring the water on my wounds. And yeah, so I received the Reiki first and second attunements, and I started using them, and I was using them for a while, every day until you sort of have it automatically happening within. And every morning now I reach, like I wake up, I put my hands on my heart, like, okay, I'm here, how are you doing? The heart, and, just bless the heart. And as more you learn Reiki, the more simpler it becomes. It's like just there. Yeah, so the journey about Reiki was this, and then it took me to Qigong, which was again another level of like how to cultivate, how to grow that energy, how to work with it, how it affects you. It's a whole huge field of exploration, never ending.
Absolutely. It is a journey of continuing discovery and continuing, as you answer one question or you find out something, there's many more things that open, and oh yes, that's part of the joy of it. And with this process, I've always said that spirituality is something you can't put in a box, so it's different for different people. But just broadly speaking, before we go into your teaching and giving back with this, you have diversified into a number of areas of spirituality, as much as I don't like labels as such, but there's different types of yoga here. There's obviously the astral meditations, there's the Qigong, hopefully I'm saying that the right way, and there's different things. So can you just briefly share with us your journey, because you went into the Reiki, but then there's the diversity that started to happen. And I think that's good to mention as well, especially for people who are not as familiar, because there'll be some people watching this who know a lot about this type of thing. There'll be some people watching this who they just starting to discover and they're having the experience like you had with Reiki. Oh wow, what is this? What have I found? So just for those individuals, can you share with us a little bit about some of the other practices you became involved in during that time, or during the whole time, really, please?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we were practicing Osho active meditations. That was my starter pack. He has a lot. And there is a website, Osho Rajneesh. It's his former student, and he shares them all for free. And you can download music for free. So what attracted me most to these meditations is the movement and different phases. Because as a beginner, it's very difficult for an untrained mind to sit in stillness. Very difficult. So he would have that release, like either through movement, through breath, through sound, shouting, anything. You release, and then you can be calm and just sit with yourself a little, relax a little. So that was very smart. And people think that, maybe the most important is like you're shouting or you're doing crazy movements, but it's the release that comes after. That's the little taste of what the stillness and beauty of stillness is. And it's a perfect for beginners, Osho, for me, that because of that. And then Greg once, he's like, you think it's meditation, because he spent a few months and quite a bit of his life in Asia, practicing with Buddhist temples, in Buddhist temples with Buddhist monks. And he had much deeper understanding, of what meditation is. For me, it was like maybe this, maybe that. I don't know. I'm trying. It feels nice. But to actually be able, and he just sat me down and we did nothing. And, just sitting with a straight spine, and we did nothing. And then I like, aha, okay, that is a little something, that just nothing, just accepting the moment. So there was a second realization, that, when people say guided meditation or movement meditation, yeah, in a sense, everything is meditation, but can you reach that stillness? That's the point. Once you reach that stillness, then you're in a meditation. And, many beautiful techniques. Many beautiful. My favorites are also through Osho. I learned was the humming. I still do it. It's also like now what I did the course about allergies, for example, in Qigong. They also teach that the humming. It's a healing tool that we can use. So different sound meditations with a hum, all these sounds that have ability to just balance our energy centers, align us. So these were also like very, very close to my heart because I'm very musical. I love music. I love creating. I love expressing. And also sound gives that nice thing also from unsettling mind. Like mine is very unsettled. I'm like all over the place. But once you concentrate on the sound, then it gives an extra tool than just sitting. When you're just sitting, okay. But if you like the sound, you can just travel through the space if you concentrate on that sound. For me, at least, it's so helpful. You know, like one little object. It could be a sound, it could be a flickering flame, anything. Where you just concentrate, and then from there, it gives you that little kick off point. Yeah. So we did those meditations. Yoga, I was involved a little bit. I was very much more involved with yogic breathing, and I'm a huge fan of breath work. I did the course with a local beautiful yogic teacher, Corina Kontaksaki, and she did yoga philosophy and pranayama. So many breathing styles, holding breath, different nostrils, all of that. Loved everything. So powerful, so deep. Yeah. And then yeah, it took me to the Qigong, which is also like vast skill, which is energy cultivation. And Master Aristotelis, he was coming here to this studio where I'm sitting now in our space. And we would just have these evenings where the friends would come up and he would teach, and then we would have a soup together. It was all very very informal, you know, just friends interacting. Beautiful. And then he would teach me a Qigong technique. So you take your two hands in between, and then you feel the energy between them. And it's so simple, but it's profound, because the body is bioelectric magnetic device. You know, Earth is magnetic and the sky is electric, and then you are a combination of that. That's what holds your body together. It's amazing. And you can cultivate that. The more you push and throw these different poles, the more energized you become. And everyone can work with that. And you can reach beautiful results in a simplistic way. You just need to tell your mind it's okay, you know, it doesn't have to be complicated, because the mind, you know, always loves to overcomplicate things. It's like everything has to be like this, and just sit and, you know, feel what is happening between your hands. Yeah.
The journey you've been on so far is exceptional. So with this, obviously we've talked quite a bit about how these things have developed for you personally, and working with Greg as well, and everything that's been going on. When it came to the point of wanting to pass along some of this knowledge to other people and thinking, okay, this is wonderful thing for me, but how do I put this out into the world? The same type of thing, really. I'd just like to get a feeling for, first of all, what the inspiration was in the beginning to do that, you know, so not just to learn it, but to teach it. And again, a little bit about your process with starting to pass this along, starting to share. I mean, it's always an exchange with people, isn't it? You teach them something, something comes back to you. So I'm not saying, you know, you just putting it out there like we're all learning together, but still that concept of sharing some of these ideas with people who may not know about it or anything like this. First of all, what inspired you to do that, to go from learning to teaching, basically, please?
Yes. So with the Master Aristoteles, at some point, he moved to teaching in his place, and I haven't mastered Greek language so much, and his teachings were very much concentrated in Greek words, and he would put a lot of meaning to what actually each word means, and it was very beautiful, but I couldn't catch up, unfortunately. Then I was doing Qigong with his students, also like for me it was very beautiful. I loved like since the beginning, so I was always going and continuing. But then they had to stop because of their careers and the different things happening in their life, and I was left on my own. So I, of course, at that time did online. I would watch a YouTube video from my favorite teacher, and I would practice, but it's not the same. If you have a group, you have that live connection, and nothing can compare to that. Even it's very beautiful that so many people now do this online things. But when you are together and when you connect on the physical level, like it's different experience. So I thought, okay, if this isn't happening, then maybe I should just make it happen. And I could. There was no one at that time teaching much around. I thought, well, why not? Why not? And there I am, starting my journey.
Incredible. It's wonderful, wonderful in-depth topic so far. And I'll go deeper into your teaching journey in just a moment. But before we do, when it comes to um, spirituality in Cyprus as a whole, obviously a lot of people in Cyprus will listen to this, but for people who are, again, maybe not familiar, maybe they're thinking of coming here for, to be part of this type of community. Have you seen development in the spiritual community or the space over the years that you've been here? Because from what I hear, it's grown and it's become um, not so much better, but more accessible, shall we say, over that time. Do you think that's an accurate point of view over, say, the 16 years or so that you've been here? You must have seen some changes.
Yes, absolutely. A massive change. So many now beautiful spiritual events happening. So many teachers teaching very interesting, wonderful things. And so many teachers coming from other places also, because it's a perfect little corner to gather. Many things happening. I remember like when we were going to first Mind, Body and Spirit, which is like a festival for all the spiritual freaks, and saying jokingly. But yeah, first one was quite small and then it became huge, huge. Like, of course, pandemic brought these things down a bit, but just before it was flourishing. So yeah, few teachers. There's also that in Cyprus is very beautiful feeling of this intimacy because you sort of know everyone one around in the circles, and that gives confidence in person because you cannot hide what you are. It's too small of a place, So that's a good thing. Yeah, so it's really expanded, and before, like, you would have like one or two or like pioneers, which Gregory was amongst them, and the people. Okay, the devotion, I think it was much stronger because you would have to go against everyone's beliefs, against orthodoxy of the church, which is very strong still here. They will say, oh, you're worshiping a devil and things like that. If you do yoga, it's still like things like that happening. But it changed a lot.
Good. It's good to give a mention to the environment that's going on there as well. I think that's valuable. Now, coming back to you, obviously you've continued to develop your understanding of these many things, and In terms of this, I'm just actually looking at what you sent me at this point because you've continued to develop the Qigong, you've become involved in Taoist breath work, relaxation, meditation tools. Let's have a look a minute. There's so many things. It's awesome. Marissa as well. You were working with her online with Qigong Flow. So just to get a feel for the continuation of your journey, teaching and learning these new skills. And at this point, I think it's good to touch on really what you enjoy most about the process of contributing to people's lives. As I said earlier, it's a sharing process, isn't it? You teach something to someone, I'm sure they give back, and then it's a sharing of energy, a sharing of knowledge. What do you find most rewarding about teaching or coaching someone in this way and seeing them develop in themselves, if that makes sense? I'd like to get a little bit into that topic, please.
Most rewarding. I think it's just the ability to be there. I'm trying to put it in a better words because it's just remembering Lao Tzu, who says that nice words are not always true. So I could say like transformations and everything, but I want to avoid that really. I think what is most enjoyable that for me, I have found a reason to go and share with others what I found truly meaningful. And that beats my chronic pain conditions, that beats my laziness, and that's an inspiration I can give them, when I'm there and I'm coming from the point of complete zero, like I'm not a Qigong master, I'm not master of anything, really, in my life. Sometimes I'm so much out of control and, just a very, very ordinary person. But yet again, in that simplicity, in that your ordinariness, in that little effort that you can make, and then if you just do a little bit of honesty work, then for me it works much better than any most advanced techniques, because I'm sharing from what's truly meaningful, and that can inspire other people. I think that's that, and it's Qigong is nothing really popular here. For example, people find hard to understand why we need to stand in this posture. It's challenging. It's no fun. Someone's not saying lay down and just drift. So there is a bit of a challenge to the mind to go easy with the flow, but I see purpose in that, and that's the best I can give, really. And if they can transform during that, that's their problem.
Well, that's a wonderful answer, Ruta. I knew that would be a good answer, but that's a really beautiful description. So thank you very much for that. And obviously, at this point, we should mention now as well, um, basically giving people the awareness of what you are offering in this way. If somebody wants to come and see you, they want to contact you, they want to do that. First of all, we'll give a quick mention to the best way to reach out to you briefly. But when people do come to visit you and they come for these sessions, broadly speaking, it would be good to describe what people can expect and everything. Again, for people who are new to this, but also for people who are experienced, because you offer a lot in this area. I mean, I'm just looking at your notes again, but obviously the holistic therapy and the massage and beauty therapy is still included in this. So that's very important to mention. So as well as it's all spiritual because it's all self-care. But broadly speaking, I know it's sort of a big question, but somebody who's thinking of coming along to see you, if you had to describe what they can expect from it, can you share a little bit more about that? Because this is just to give you the well, to continue to get it out there, because especially with this now as well, when we release this and it'll go out around different parts of Europe and people see it in different places, they think, okay, I'm visiting Cyprus, maybe I'll come and see Ruta and Greg and join in with one of these things. I know it's sort of obvious for you because it's what you do all the time, but it would be good just to describe that a little bit more, what they can expect, if that's okay, please.
So there is different things with things that I do. So the holistic therapies, which I do for women only, uh, people can expect relaxation. And it's not relaxation is very profound healing tool. And some people dismiss it as some luxury thing or pampering or whatever. And it's so wrong, because relaxation means that your body goes in a state where it's able to heal itself. And this is the key for me. Like people do sports massages, they do different, like you tear the many different techniques, all beautiful, all good. But really, with the techniques that I do, I aim to relax the body so it goes into the state of deep relaxation. And then you can just heal yourself, align the alignments, and just recharge. We've been talking lately with our friends, and I do treatments, and they completely all fall asleep or just feel like, oh, I went somewhere else. And we were wondering, where do you go at that time when you are so relaxed? You just feel that you out of your body. I think it's a really deep healing tool, which is gives a good benefits. So the techniques that I learned many techniques because I've been working with massages for around 20 years now. I learned different tools, but the most important is the love, the chi, the care, and that's what they can get. I care. I don't take 10 massages per day. I have few people, and when they are here, then the time is for them. And they can take the time, and we can do Reiki if they feel like they want to connect more with the spiritual side. We can do massage, we can do facials, we can do many beautiful things. So that's with the holistic therapies. I also really keen to learn now that I'm gonna be going to Thailand, the stomach massage and the organ massage, which is also really super interesting area for me to explore and discover. And with a Qigong, they can expect to just align themselves with the force of life. That's the ultimate goal. Of course, it's comes individually with a time with everyone, but with time, that's the goal. And we work with posture, so we all know how the posture is so important to just get your mental state good. I am saying that because I am struggling still, and I used to struggle a lot with like anxiety, things like that, and it helped me tremendously. So the breath, the posture, the mental attitude, the smiling attitude, it's all there. And then Qigong has all these tools and then we move with effort, but the effort is not 100%. And that teaches the mind not to push through life. It just teaches you to flow through life. And then you save your energy, you don't exhaust yourself, you know. So this is, for me, it took me a while to understand because I was very much going in life through inertia, you know, just like, okay, this needs to be done, this needs to pack. And you push through, you ignore your body, I'll just take painkillers, whatever, you know, I'll need to get up at that time. It's crazy for me. It's now, and I see it's a mental illness. And it's relearning to just be peaceful and go with the flow. And it has all the tools. Yeah.
Well, an amazing description again, wonderful description, and thank you, because to condense down so many things into an easy to understand way, wonderful. The connection that you've explained there with the relaxation and bringing that into it, fantastic, because I was hoping to cover that so people understand the connection. So we're doing really well with this. We'll talk about the last couple of things, I think, and we'll wrap this up fairly soon. But I need to give a mention because one of the things you sent me was about your father and how he is an inspiration to you. Um, and I feel that that is meaningful to give a brief mention to, if you're okay to talk about it, because again, it's not the easiest thing I can imagine, as some of what we covered about the beginning. So we'll talk about that if that's okay. Then we'll talk about your future plans, and that's about it really. But with your father first, can you give a little bit of a mention to his inspiration? Because when I was reading your email, that struck me as being a very important thing to mention, if that's okay, please.
Yes. So we lost our father in 2021 due to COVID, very unexpectedly and very quick. And he passed in a hospital, so we were not able even to see him. That was a very traumatic experience for all the family, of course, because we loved him a lot. And it's still difficult to talk about it, but I've been working with my feelings towards it, and maybe it's a journey that will never end, but I'm okay to mention few things. So my father, he originally was a musician. He was a singer in classical music choir, and all his life he struggled with mental issues. So yeah, from the young age, I had to see him being really in pain and in suffering. And that was my kickoff to just learn how to, help someone who might be experiencing that. First of all, help myself, because though I don't think I experienced anything like he did at that level, wanting to end the life. But I experienced the moments where I was really in a darkness, and then learning to accept that and going through that and just even in those hours, finding a strength to say it's okay, and not saying I will make it through. No, just accept and be in that state. It's okay. It's a state. I might, everything changes. Everything is impermanent. That's okay to be in darkness sometimes. It's where things grow. So yeah, and then I loved him very much. We had a very deep connection. He had a very artistic side to it, and I miss him dearly. And every time I practice, or I don't want to practice, that's my point where I think about him and I connect with him spiritually, thinking, okay, we're doing this together, So, yeah.
It's a beautiful description, and it's a wonderful thing to mention that. I am sorry for your loss because it's something that it's never easy, and I was considering that. I was considering, shall I mention it or not, or what you're going to do. But at the same time, because of the close connection and the profound effect he's had on not only on you personally, but on what you contribute to the world as well, I thought, okay, we'll give that a mention. So really, the only other thing, as I said at the beginning, for the length of time for people's attention, we'll wrap this up soon. And the only other thing is obviously, as I've said, you're on an amazing journey, and it's a journey that never ends, really. I mean, there's always new things to discover. That's part of the adventure. As I said earlier, you learn one thing and something else opens up. So it doesn't stop. Now, you mentioned Thailand as well. So you're obviously continuing to develop your understanding. So, broadly speaking, what are some things that you would like to do in the future? What are some of your next steps? Obviously, we never know for sure in life what is around the corner. So that's a valuable lesson in itself. Is you can't always tell. But it sounds like there are certain things you have in mind that you want to pursue, like the organ massage and so forth. Are there other things like that that you're interested in but you haven't gone to yet? Let's talk about that, please.
So I enrolled to start online Taoist breath work and meditations via this beautiful application that my friend Chris created. It's called ConsciaLink. It's an amazing platform for seekers of spirituality, people who might feel that they need for help or support, or they just want to connect with like-minded people. Beautiful idea, very amazingly executed. And there I am gonna be offering evening sort of weekly meditation, breath work, self-massage. So just a relaxation class to, again, focusing on self-nurture, self-love, self-care, something easy to do in the evening just to go nicely into the better flow with life. That is something that is coming up. So I'm looking to do online classes with Qigong because I will be traveling. Like you said, I'm going to Thailand to complete my Qigong instructor studies. And I'm really looking forward to it. And from there, we'll see.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, yes, as I've said, we never know, but it's good to just mention a couple of things as the continuation of your journey. Absolutely amazing talk so far. Earlier on, I mentioned about if people want to reach out and connect with you, just give yourself a little shout out there, please. What is the best way to get hold of you? Is it like Facebook or Instagram or a website if people want to connect and find out more about what you do, please?
Yeah, thank you so much. So it's in Facebook, it's healingtouch.cy, and on Instagram, it's Healing Touch for How, which means Phoenix. So yeah, them two platforms, I'm on them, and anyone can reach me if they feel like. And also I do every Thursday Qigong classes in Larnaca in Patihion Park. That is donation based, and anyone is welcome to join, to come. They're not gonna be happening from mid-December till March, because I will be going on my journeys. But yeah, until mid-December, and from March they're gonna resume.
Amazing. Well, that gives you a good shout out. Ruta, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for being an open book, as I said before, and sharing so many things about your life and about the journey you've been on, the journey you are still on. I really appreciate the authenticity of this, the honesty and everything. It's a powerful thing. I believe that this will really help a lot of people. Obviously, it helps us both, you with your business, myself with launching this new series in Cyprus. But of equal importance, it will really touch people's lives, and that's why I do these. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you for this opportunity again. It's an interesting experience, and yeah,
Uh,
feels good. Feels good. I hope with my little story, if it makes a little impact, then I'm happy. And if not, then again, it's fun. We have to enjoy ourselves.
Absolutely. Well, I've enjoyed it. I hope you have as well. And yes, I believe it will have that impact on people. So I will release this as soon as my editing stuff comes through customs, which should be the next few days, that it will be here. And then when it's out there, I will send it to you, and we can both share it and start getting it out there from that point. No mistakes, so nothing to edit. Very, very good talk. And for your first one, please give yourself a pat on the back, as we say. In other words, be very proud, because you've done a really good job of it, as it's a new experience for you. So, really, really good interview. Thank you very much. So,
Thank you. Yeah.
no, you've done a good job of it. I really mean it. And I knew it would be good, but there's a lot there. So, you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.